And if you're wearing glasses, you can just take those off for a moment here because we're going to do an exercise with our hands on our face. So that's going to, glasses will be in the way. So just take a moment here with your hands at heart center and your eyes closed. And just tuning in here, observing the movement of your breath in your body. We'll be working a little bit with our breath to cultivate a sense of inner warmth. And so here we'll just begin to constrict the throat ever so slightly, as if you were fogging up a mirror. But we're going to use that throat constriction with the lips closed. It's our Ujjayi breath. So nice inhale through the nose. Exhale, find that slight glottis constriction. Makes a little ocean sound of your exhale. And beginning here to rub the palms of your hands together as if you were trying to get warm. As you rub the palms of your hands together, we begin to generate some extra energy and heat. And we'll take those nice warm palms of your hands and just cup your eyes very gently. And just envision all of that energy generated pouring in. And we'll do that 2 more times. So bring your palms towards each other. Find a nice little rubbing heat generation here. And then go ahead and just cup your eyes. And we'll do that 1 more time. Create some heat if you're trying to start in the inner fire. And then bring your hands gently to cup the eyes here. And just take some nice breaths here. And then joining your hands once more at heart center. Let's join our voices in the sound of Om as we prepare to move. Nice big inhale. Om. And as you exhale, release your chin inward, settle both hands down to your lap. And we'll find our way towards our child's pose. And as you come into your child's pose, you might keep your knees hugging in towards each other. You might separate your knees the width of your mat. If your low back isn't quite ready for that deep curve, keep your toes curled under, and that'll lessen that curve that the low back needs to do here. And just invite your brow point to settle down into the ground or into a blanket. And just begin to soften your jaw here. Begin to roll your head a little side to side, giving that brow point a little massage. And with your next inhale, let's begin to bring ourselves up to our hands and our knees. And as we come up to our hands and our knees, let's spread your fingers nice and wide. Really grip the mat with your finger pads. If your toes aren't curled under yet, curl them under here. And on an inhale, bring your hips up and back, coming into our first Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let this be a wiggly downward dog, bending and straightening into opposite knees. Let your head be heavy here, gaze backwards. Might even make a couple funny faces, releasing the tension that might have accumulated in your neck and on your face, really making silly faces here, opening your mouth wide, opening the eyes wide, maybe sticking your tongue out. Take a couple of those really silly faces and then begin to let your body come to a stillness. Breathe here into the length of your spine. On an inhale, peel your gaze upwards, lift your heels, walk your toes forward, coming towards that forward fold at the top of your yoga mat. Bend your knees as much as you need to bring your fingertips to the earth here. And on an inhale, rise halfway, gazes down, spine nice and long. Use your exhale, tuck your belly in, drape the spine a little longer over your hips, releasing fully the weight of your head. Inhale, both hands come to your hips, roll your shoulders open. Use your exhale, rise up here. Inhale, reaching upwards for the sky. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Good, nice big inhale here, stretch up. Exhale, lengthen forward, lower down, catch the ground with your fingertips. Use your inhale, peel your spine halfway up. Exhale, soften inwards. Good. Next inhale, let's step the right toes backwards. Snuggle that right heel down to the ground. Begin to bend into your left knee. And on an inhale, sweep your fingers up, coming into a nice strong warrior. Good. Connect with this line of energy. Back heel is down. Both thumbs moving towards the back body and extend upwards through the middle fingers of both hands. Feel that nice warm line of energy as we connect with the sun, Surya, moving this morning through our Surya Namaskar, a little sun salutation. One more nice big inhale here. Peel the heart up, lift your gaze. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Free your back heel as the hands reach down for the ground. Plant your hands here. Step your front foot back, coming to the top of your plank pose. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, keep your belly drawing in, elbows drawing in as you lower your body down. And then inhale, peel your heart up, coming into your Bhujangasana. Nice deep breaths here. Always an option to separate the heels if our low back isn't quite ready for this back bend. On an exhale, lower your heart. Bring yourself up through tabletop. Separate your fingertips, curl your toes under, bring your hips up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Option for more movement if that's what your body needs, or stillness. You might come back to that Ujjayi breath here in your downward dog that we played with, that little constriction in your throat. You might here begin to play with lengthening your exhale and even suspending your breath at the bottom of your exhale. Let's inhale, lift our gaze, lift your heels. Exhale, bring your toes forward. Find that front line of your yoga mat. Take your half lift here. Draw your belly in, release the weight of your spine and head down, softening here into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Next, inhale, bring both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open. Use your exhale, rise up. Inhale, reaching for the sky. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Nice big inhale here, reach up. Exhale, lengthen forward, lower down. Take your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana, then exhale, soften in. Step your left foot back now. Left heel plugging down, left toes pointing towards that upper left corner of your mat. Use an inhale, stretch upwards here, finding your Virabhadrasana, Warrior One. Again, connecting with that fire line of energy, back heel plugging down. Thumbs pulling towards that back line of your yoga mat. And those middle fingers really stretching actively upwards. Last breath, let's pull the thumbs even deeper back. Lift your sternum, lift your eyes. Big inhale. Then exhale, bring yourself forward and down. Frame the front foot as you step that back foot slightly further backwards. Then drop your palms. Release your right foot back, coming to your Phalakasana here, plank pose. Nice big inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows to lower the weight of your body down. Release down to the ground. Then peel your heart upwards here. Breathing your cobra pose. And exhale, lower your heart. Bring your body to your hands and your knees. Curl your toes under, hips come up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Good, coming back maybe to that ocean breath, that Ujjayi breath here. Maybe if you were playing with it, coming back to that suspension of the exhale. And in that space of suspension, you can activate Uddiyana Bandha, drawing your belly button in and up, just a slight contraction of those muscles before you inhale. Next inhale, lift your gaze, lift your heels, walk forward to the top of your mat. Take a half lift. Then exhale, soften inwards. Bring both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open, press into your feet, rise up here. Nice big inhale, stretching for the sky. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Anjali Mudra, nice big inhale, reach upwards. Exhale, lead with your heart as you lengthen forward, lowering down to the ground. Take your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, soften in. Step those right toes back here. Good, and as the right toes come back, this time we'll leave that right heel free. Right heel's lifting upwards. Lower your right knee downwards. So coming here to a low lunge. Hands surrounding your front foot. Bring both hands to heart center here. Roll your shoulders backwards. Lift your sternum. Lean into the shoulder girdle. Good, nice big inhale, then exhale. Lean forward, rotate towards your left knee. Hook your right elbow. Roll your top shoulder open and then lean back, lifting your eyes to the sky. Good, option to stay here or press into those right toes. Lift that right knee up and away from the ground. Good, lowering that right knee back down if it's been lifted. Use it, inhale, unwind here. Stretch your fingertips upwards. Good, again, connecting with that line of energy back body. Draw the thumbs backwards. Keep extending up through the fingers. Soften a little more into this front knee. And if the back toes are curled under, maybe unwind them. Coming into this nice open-hearted shape of our Anjaneyasana. And on an exhale, draw your hands towards each other. Release your hands to the ground. Curl your back toes under. Lift that knee upwards. Plant your hands and step it back. Phalakasana here. Lowering chaturanga, keeping those knees lifted, or dropping the knees, taking knees, chin, and chest here to bring your body down to the ground. Uncurl your toes here. Reach your fingers backwards, roll your shoulders back, and peel your heart up. Keep your toes connected down. And on an exhale, bring both hands down to the ground. Bring yourself through your tabletop. Back up to your downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good, deep breaths here. Again, coming back to maybe that Ujjayi breath. Maybe that longer exhale with an activation of the bandhas, drawing the belly in and up. Always releasing those abdominal muscles if you're working with them before you inhale. Next inhale, lift your gaze, lift your heels, walk it forward, top line of your yoga mat. Take a half rise here. Then exhale, soften inwards. Bring both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open, use your exhale, rise up here. Inhale, reach upwards. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good, nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, pour yourself forward, coming into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Rise halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Then soften inward, step backwards with your left toes, keeping your left heel free, lowering your left knee all the way down to the ground. Use an inhale, bring both hands to heart center here. Take a nice roll of your shoulders. Feel those shoulder blades drawing towards each other on your back body. Nice big inhale here. Peel your heart and eyes up. Then as you exhale, lengthen forward over your front thigh. Rotate to hook your opposite elbow. Roll your top shoulder open, then lean away from your knee, maybe lifting your eyes. Maybe curling into the back toes and lifting that back knee up and away from the ground. And then an exhale, let's lower your knee if that's lifted. Use an inhale, unwind your body towards center. Stretch all 10 fingers upwards. Maybe staying here, spine nice and long. Maybe though, beginning to lean into that front knee a little bit and curl your spine backwards, maybe even uncurling the back toes as we come more fully into this nice Anjaneyasana. Big deep breaths here. And on an exhale, bring your hands through heart center all the way down to the ground. Curl your back toes under if they're not already. Lift that knee up and step your front foot back. Good, head, heart, hips in a straight line here. And then an exhale, lower knees, chin, chest down to the ground. Uncurl your toes. Stretch your fingers backwards, peel your heart upwards. Keep those toes connected down. Breathing here. Good, exhale, softening down. Bring yourself back to your hands and your knees. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Breathe deep, connecting with your breath practice of choice. Good, and on an exhale, let's bring both knees down to the ground. Lift up so that your hands come to your hips, coming to a tall kneeling position. Orient yourself so that you're facing the long side of your yoga mat. So we're going to want yoga mat on either side of you. So if you're facing the short side, go ahead and take a turn. With both hands on your hips and with yourself centered on your yoga mat, let's extend the right toes out to the right. Good, plug the right heel down. Side of your right foot should be parallel to that front line of your yoga mat. So begin to lengthen the right arm long along that right leg. So palm is on your leg, and let's bring the gaze looking towards the left. So we're going to begin to lean towards the right, look to the left, roll your left shoulder open, maybe even bring that left hand behind your back, reaching for the right hip. And just leaning here. You might keep your left hand behind your back. You might play with reaching those fingertips up and over to the right. Nice, even breaths here. Okay, I'm losing my headphones. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can still hear me.
Yep.
Okay, good, good. Thank you. Let's inhale, bring it back up to center. Keep your right leg extended as you bring both hands to your hips. Good, now here's where you might, if you have one, grab a hold of a block. With both hands in your hips, drop your gaze over your left shoulder. Reach your left hand down, catching the block or catching the ground. Keep your right foot connected to the ground and just beginning to lean your body to the left. So beginning to connect with this long line of energy in the right side body. You could stay here, right hand in your hip, or we could take that right arm stretching towards the left side of your mat. Fingertips extended, outer edge of that right foot pressing down. Nice deep stretch here as we play with our gate pose. Big deep breaths. On an inhale, let's bring your body back up towards center. Draw both hands onto your hips, bring that right knee inwards, and then settle your seat down onto your heels. Let's bring both hands to the right, release both feet to the left. And so we're coming to a seat. Knees are pointing to the right, feet to the left. And then settle your feet and knees in such a way so that your right foot is just in front of your left thigh. So not buried underneath it, knee on top of foot, but just in front of it. Good. And you know what? I did the wrong side. So let's switch that. Knees to the left, feet to the right. Knees to the left, feet to the right. So we'll just switch the knees and the feet. And then bringing your left hand behind your body. So we can just stretch your right fingertips upwards. Good, so you might stay here, hips down, or you might press into your hips, lifting your hips up, lifting your heart up, taking this kneeling back bend. Nice deep breaths, breathing into your heart center. And on an exhale, lower your hips down to the ground if they're lifted. Let's work ourselves back into our tall kneeling position. Both hands coming to your hips. Good, so tall kneeling, knees on the ground, hands on our hips. We will extend the left leg out to the left. And as your left leg comes out to the left, center yourself so that the sole of, or the outer edge of the left foot is parallel to that back line of your yoga mat. Begin to lengthen your left arm down your long left leg. Keep your right hand in your hip, roll your right shoulder open, and just drop your, or bring your gaze up and to the right. So looking away from this stretch. Maybe that right hand wants to come behind your back, coming towards the left hip. Maybe it would feel lovely to stretch your right hand up and over your head. Nice deep breaths here, wherever you are. Feeling this nice opening happening in our Parigasana. Good, on an inhale, let's bring ourselves long spine, both hands to your hips. Keep that left leg extended, perhaps reaching for a block with your right hand. And dropping that block down next to your right knee. So the right hand is going to reach to the right. Keep that left foot connected to the ground. So we're not lifting upwards here. You can go as high or as low, or not even use the block here, whatever makes the most sense to you. You might keep that left hand in your left hip, or might extend your arm parallel to your ear here. Looking upwards underneath that left elbow, looking towards the sky, breathing here. Good. On an inhale, reach with your top arm. Bring your whole body back up. Settle both hands onto your hips. Join both knees underneath your hips. And then take a seat, hips to heels. This time we'll send feet left, knees right, as we drop our hips fully down to the ground. Good. Settle your right hand behind your right hip. Stretch your left hand upwards. So option to keep hips down or press into that right hand. Press your hips forward. Press your heart and eyes up towards the ceiling. Good. And on an exhale, let's begin to lower your hips here. Lowering your hips, bring yourself forward. And let's again center ourselves so that we're facing the short line of our yoga mat. And as we set ourselves up to move on towards our next shape, let's set ourselves up for success by placing one block towards each short end of your yoga mat, just reaching distance for you. And then bringing yourself to your hands and your knees. Let's find our way back to our Adho Mukha Svanasana, nice downward facing dog. Good, let's come back to that really conscious yogi breath. Really full, complete inhale. Finding that emptying exhale. Good, nice inhale. Lift your gaze, walk your toes forward. Find that top line of your yoga mat. Rise halfway. Use your exhale, fully surrender the weight of your upper body down. Bring both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open. Use your exhale, rise up here. Then inhale, reaching upwards. Bring both hands to heart center. Good, and here, coming once more to face that long line of your yoga mat. Let's reach for those blocks and set those blocks up on their tallest height, right next to each short line of your yoga mat. So you're seated right in the middle. Good, and bringing your hands back to your hips, let's begin to find a nice wide-legged shape. Stretch your heels away from each other. Keep your toes pointing towards this long line of your yoga mat that you're facing. And let's just begin to rotate the right toes towards the short line of your yoga mat. So right toes are going to face towards that right block. Reach forward, take a hold of that right block in your right hand. Good, let's bring the left hand to the left hip. Roll your left shoulder open. Inhale, stretch your right hand up to the sky, holding that block. Good, press into both heels. Let's connect now with this line of energy. Heels pressing down all the way through your body. Roof of your mouth stretching up. Right hand and right block stretching up. Big lengthening breath here. Big inhale. Exhale, lower your right hand to shoulder height. Bring your gaze forward. Good, again, nice inhale, connecting with that lengthening line of energy. Pressing into both heels, lifting up through the roof of your mouth. Exhale, let's snake that left hand behind our back. Good, reaching for the right hip or the small of your back. Another big long line of inhale. Exhale, begin to hinge at your hip, lengthen over your long right leg, reach that block as far forward as you can, and then begin to drop the block down. Keep that left hand behind your back as we come into this variation of our triangle pose. Now, if this block is too short for you, always the option to bring your hand up to your knee. What we're focusing on here is keeping our heart shining forward towards that long line of the yoga mat, keeping this top shoulder centered over your bottom. So we don't want to close the shoulders here, bringing the shoulders side by side. We're going to have one stacked on top of the other. Good, and beginning to lean the weight of your body towards that back line of your yoga mat. Option to stay here, or we can take our traditional triangle pose by reaching those left fingertips up to the sky. Gaze here could be up, forward, or down. Nice deep breaths here. Fill up this inner space. Good, and on an exhale, lower that hand if it's not there already. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Lower your gaze towards the right toes. So again, to press into your heels. Stretch your heels away from each other. Release your hand from that right block. Bring your body up towards center. Rotate the toes to face that long line of your yoga mat. Let's step or hop your feet together here. Good. Bring both hands to heart center. Take a moment here, both heels down, connecting with that length of your spine, pressing upwards through the crown of your head. Good. Maybe feeling the difference, right side, left side. Nice deep breaths here, breathing into all of the cells of your body. And next exhale, let's bring both hands to your hips. Separate your heels away from each other, coming back to that wide-legged stance. Keeping that orientation facing the long side of your mat. So begin to rotate left toes outwards. Right toes stay forward, reach down, grab a hold of your left block into your left hand. Keep your right hand in your hip here. You begin to actively press into both heels. Find that action as we press into our heels, the ground kind of presses back up. So feel that energy rising up, spine lengthening nice and tall. Reaching up through the crown of your head and then reaching that left hand with block up and over your head. Good, keep that action, snake the right hand behind your body. Exhale, bring your left hand to shoulder height. Draw your gaze to the left, looking over the left shoulder. Again, press into your heels, get tall. Big inhale here. Exhale, lean over that long left leg, dropping that block to the ground, maybe bringing your hand to your upper thigh, if that makes more sense. Finding your way on this side into the shape of the triangle or Trikonasana. As our hand lands, whether it's on our leg or on a block, really focus on this nice open heart center. Lean your head back, lean your shoulders back. Yeah, keep pressing into both heels here. Maybe staying here, maybe stretching those right fingertips up, taking this more classic version of our Trikonasana. Gaze here could be up, forward, or down, breathing deeply into this triangle pose. Nice big stretch for the side body. Good. Next exhale, bring that right hand back to your hip if it's not there already. Drop your gaze towards the left toes. Press your heels away from each other. Let that action take your body upwards. Bring both hands to your hips. Rotate all 10 toes forward. Step or hop your feet together here. Bring your hands to heart center. Just take a moment here, connecting with your inner mountain. Let your eyes close. Feel into the body, feeling that difference, right side, left side. Maybe they're evened out here. Good. So open the eyes, release your hands down. Use an inhale, stretch your arms upwards. Find a conscious softening of your shoulders inwards as you encircle your right wrist with your left hand. Option to keep your feet side by side, or we can snuggle the right ankle behind the left. Nice big inhale here. And as you exhale, let's begin to lean towards the left. Maybe lifting your gaze up to the sky, maybe keeping your gaze forward. Next inhale, bring yourself back towards center. Settle both hands onto your hips, uncross your ankles. Good, and then crossing perhaps left behind right if you took that variation on the other side. Let's inhale, stretch your fingers upwards, consciously soften your shoulders inwards, and take a hold of your left wrist with your right fingertips. Pull that left thumb backwards and then arc your body towards the right, lifting your gaze up to the left or keeping your gaze forward. We're really working into these lines of the side body today. Good. On an inhale, let's bring it forward. Release your hands back down to your hips, uncross your ankles if they've been crossed. Let's come back to that top line of your yoga mat. And as we come to the top line of your yoga mat, take a moment here, just clear your space. We're going into a pose that's going to utilize the space on the sides of your yoga mat. So make sure that you have space in the sides, that there's nothing in the way that you might be stepping on. And then we'll come to that top line of the yoga mat. Nice big inhale here, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center, pour your body down, coming into your Uttanasana. Take your half rise. Then soften inwards, plant your hands, step your feet backwards, coming into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths here. Good, so moving here towards our wild thing. We haven't done this pose in a while. So let's take a moment. I'll demo for you just in case you've forgotten what the wild thing looks like. So go ahead, bring your knees down, eyes on me, and then I'll walk everybody through it. So as a reminder, our wild thing is we lift one leg up and we kind of lean that leg towards the opposite side of our mat. And then we bend into the knee, drop the foot down, reach the opposite hand away from the ground. And so if you have any issues with the shoulders, we're not going to do that. So if you have issues with the shoulders, we might bring the elbow down. Nope, we're not going to do that either. You guys okay with shoulders today?
Yeah.
Come up with something else. We got thumbs up.
Okay, good.
Thumbs up from Randy?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so let's come back to our downward dog. Good, so starting as you're ready, we'll lift the right heel up to the sky. And as your right heel lifts, let's open the hips to the right, bend into your right knee. Send that foot reaching towards the left. And so just pausing here. And then releasing the right foot down, lifting your left hand away from the ground. Press your hips up. Gaze is back towards that back line of your yoga mat. And on an exhale, let's begin to find our way back to our downward dog. Just take some nice resetting breaths here. And as you're ready, we'll begin to lift your left heel up and away from the ground. Leaning your left heel towards the right, bending into your knee, looking out underneath the left arm. Good, and on an exhale, let's begin to release that left foot down. Press your heels and your heart up. Nice deep breaths here. And on an exhale, bringing it back to your downward dog. Let's lower both knees to the ground. Bring your hips back. Keep your arms extending forward here into your child's pose. And you might keep your arms straight and long, or you might join your hands, bending at the elbows, setting those hands behind your head, coming to a prayerful child. And if your hands are behind your head, let's lengthen your arms long here. Begin to walk your hands inwards, lifting your torso upwards, coming to a kneeling position, cross-legged if that's more comfortable for you.
Let's inhale just the right arm up to shoulder height. Rotate so that your right palm is facing the sky. Cross your body with your right arm. Hug that shoulder in with your left hand and then look over the right shoulder. Nice deep breaths here. And on an inhale, it's releasing, stretching that arm outwards. Bring your palm downwards, and we'll do the same with the opposite hand. Stretch your left fingertips to the left, arm is parallel to the ground, palm facing upwards, then cross your body here. Hug your left shoulder in with your right hand, look over your left shoulder. Nice deep breaths here. Good, and let's release that outwards. Bring your arm parallel to the ground here. Gaze forward, both hands down. Let's just roll those shoulders here, rolling backwards and rolling forward. Good, and coming back to this idea of heating. So we've so far we've done a very heating practice, or sun salutation. We've done a lot of heart openers, which tend to be very heating. We're going to move towards our breath of fire, which is a practice that I've been really implementing daily to help keep my immune system nice and strong. And so as we move into our breath of fire, if your shoulders still have it, then you can extend your arms upwards, interlace all but your pointer finger. Now, if your shoulders are getting tired, we can do that with bent elbows. You can even bring your hands to heart center. So closing the eyes, bring your inner gaze to this point just between and above the brows. Keep your thumbs moving towards that plane of space behind you. Nice big inhale. And as we exhale, we'll begin pumping the abdomen, pressing the breath out of your nose for our first round of breath of fire. Good, big inhale here. Squeeze your breath inwards, squeeze your muscles inwards, suspend the breath. And then exhale with a sigh. Release your hands down to your lap. And just bring your head side to side, a little side to side, releasing those muscles in the side of your neck. And we'll do our second round of this immune system activating Kapalabhati, breath of fire. So choosing your hand position of choice. Inviting your eyes to close, your inner gaze to come to that space between and above the brows. Nice big inhale. And we'll begin our second round, breath of fire. Good, big inhale here. Squeeze your muscles inwards. Suspend your breath outwards. And then exhale with a sigh. Bring both hands down to your lap. Let your eyes open. And here we'll just do opposite shoulder shrugs. So bringing the shoulders very quickly up and down, just opposite shoulders. One comes up, one comes down. Good. Soften both of your shoulders down. Use an inhale, stretch upwards. Preparing yourself for our last round, Kapalabhati. Let's close your eyes. Bring your gaze to that brow point just between and above the brows. Nice big inhale, and begin as you're ready. Good, big inhale here. Hold your breath in, squeeze your muscles in. And exhale with a sigh. Bring your hands to your lap. Let your eyes open. Let's take a couple neck rolls going in both directions. So starting 2 rolls in one direction. And when you come back towards center, 2 rolls in the opposite direction. Good, let's settle ourselves so that our feet come forward, knees pointing upwards. So still seated on the ground, just feet forward, knees up. Let's bring the left ankle towards the left hip. Draw the right knee directly inwards. And so you might keep your right foot on this side of your left knee, or you might cross. Either way, the sole of the foot is down, the knee is pointing upwards. Both hands are hugging inwards. And so with your hands hugging inwards, let's begin to connect with a nice long straight spine. And we'll begin just to move our body towards that right knee. So moving towards our twist, we'll hold the right knee a little tighter with the left hand. Stretch your right fingertips up, still connecting with this length of your spine. Nice big inhale. And as you exhale, let's place that right hand behind your sacrum. Gaze is going to come over that right shoulder. And you might stay here with your left hand hugging in on the right knee, or you might bend into your left elbow. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, fingers pointing upwards. Might even extend the left fingers downwards, pressing them into the ground. Nice deep breathing here in our twisting pose. And then an inhale, let's unwind, coming back towards center. Good, if that right leg is crossed, let's uncross here. Settle that right heel in front of your right hip, and we'll unwind the left leg, setting that left heel in front of your left hip. And reaching beneath the left leg, grab a hold of the right ankle, invite your right ankle inwards. Draw your left heel closer to your torso. Option to stay uncrossed or take that cross. Either way, the sole of your left foot is down, knee is pointing upwards. Let's close your eyes here, hug your knee in, nice big inhale. And then just gently begin to twist towards that left knee, taking a hold of your knee with the right hand, stretching your left fingertips tall, nice big inhale. And then exhale, settle your left hand behind your sacrum. Gaze comes over that left shoulder. You might keep your right knee, right hand hugging that left knee inwards, or you might bring the elbow to your knee. You might choose to straighten your arm long if the fingertips reach the earth. Nice deep breaths here. And then an inhale, bring your body back towards center. Take a hold of the left knee if it's crossed. Settle that left heel back in front of the left hip. Unwind your right. And let's bring yourselves onto your back body. So as we come onto your back body, keep your knees bent here. Keep your feet on the ground, knees bent, lying on your back. Hands are going to come down by your side. And settle your feet hips width distance apart with your toes pointing forward. Begin here to actively press into the 4 corners of both feet. Good, pressing here into the 4 corners of both feet. Let's lift your hips up. Use an exhale, soften your hips down. And coming here into our dynamic bridge, inhale, hips rise. Maybe your fingers want to reach up and over your head. Exhale, hips lower. If those fingertips reached upwards, let's lower them back downwards. And so moving here with your breath, each inhale coming up into our nice tall bridge. Each exhale, lowering down. Arms here are optional. And the next time you find your hips lowering down to the ground, let's pause here. Let's invite your right knee inwards, just the right knee. Interlace your fingers on the front of your right shin and just take that right knee side to side. Good. Lower your right foot back to the ground. Invite your left knee in. Take your fingers on the outside of your left knee and just take that left knee side to side. Good. Releasing that left foot down to the ground. Let's walk the inner edges of your feet towards each other. Open your knees away from each other. Send one hand to your heart, one to your belly. As we come here into our reclining butterfly pose. Just let your breath return to a normal pattern here. Nice, easy inhale. Easy exhale. Feeling with your hands the movement of your breath in your body. And on an exhale, let's soften both hands down by your side. Let your knees draw towards each other. And as your knees both point up to the ceiling, release both feet from the ground. Hug your knees in, hug your nose upwards. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. And then begin to release fully the weight of your body down to the ground. And as your body releases downward, stretch your feet forward. Let your hands rest by your side, palms facing up. Coming here to rest in a Shavasana. Take a nice big inhale here. And at the top of your inhale, find that gentle suspension of breath inwards and activation of tension in all of your muscles. And then exhale, release fully the weight of your body into the ground. Give your muscles permission here to release any lingering tension. Give yourself permission to get warm now that we've stopped moving. The body might be cooling rapidly, so give yourself an extra layer if you need it to be comfortable here as we come into our Shavasana. And releasing here any control you might have been holding over your breath. Releasing here fully the weight of your body down. And creating stillness so that the benefits of this practice can sink inwards, can sink beneath the surface. Beginning here to gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Coming as you're ready to find some movements into your body. Wiggle into your fingers, wiggle into your toes, allowing that movement to come upwards to your wrists and your ankles. And as you're ready, take a nice big stretch. Reach your arms up, stretch your toes back. Bring your knees inwards, wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself a little hug, a little wiggle here. And coming as you're ready up into a seat. And we'll end with that same practice we began with, that little rubbing of your hands together. So removing your glasses if you're wearing them, creating some heat with your palms. And then just settle your palms over your eyes. This is a practice of drawing inward, so really just connecting deeply with your interior self. And then release your hands down, draw your palms towards each other. Thank yourself for creating this time to connect with your breath and to connect with this practice. I'm so grateful to share a practice